Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Brian back with another episode. In this episode, I would like to speak about how you can come up with a business idea as a programmer, developer, or software engineer. I'm going to show you some tactic that you can search, which field of business you would like to be, and what are the business type available to you. So let's get to it. Right off the bat, I can tell you guys there are two type of business within the programming, within the IT field. One is service and one is product. Services is kind of like when you collect a compensation for a service that you're providing, such as it could be an ongoing service of maintaining a server, or creating a software as they keep funding you, right? Or like upgrading and that type of thing. So that's more like of a service provider type of field. Then there's product owned business where you can actually create an application or create a piece of software and you can sell it as a product, right? So we can get into like these what more into detail as what option are there and how you can go about and which field you think that you should choose. So let's get into that. So right off the bat, you can always search the trend of what are the latest businesses in IT field by just Googling it, right? So like business idea in IT field, right? So like simple as that, right? And then of course you're gonna see many articles, right? Or you can you can network, talk with a lot of people and see where the movement and where the IT movement is going, right? So that's one way. Or you can always brainstorm about project, write it in the whiteboard and see what do you think people need today, right? What type of services, what type of product they need, right? And another place that you can always like search would be the census.gov. They have a lot of data about like a demographic and population and what are the business and how what are the potential of the industry, right? So that's one place that it's very useful and it tells you. Again, this is US based data. Each government do have their own database about what industry is thriving. So you can use your your country website in order to obtain that information. So yeah, that's another way to look into the business ideas and see what industry are very thriving at the moment. Now let's say that you do pick a business, right? And we're just gonna give it an example. My business is a service providing business, so like creating a software for people. In this business, you can actually have you can wear many different hats, such as like being a consultant, being a human resource provider for a specific company, or providing an IT support for like an agency, right? So that's how you get into service providing. Let's look at and these are, and I can show you guys some companies who actually made it very big as a service provider, and usually these are companies such as like I believe it's Deloitte. Yep, Deloitte. So like they provide services to many different entities, such as small businesses, mid-sized business, large business, and government agencies. So they do provide many other aspects of the IT, many aspects of other consultation field, such as like accounting, tax, and that type of thing. So this is one company that you can actually look into as a service provider in IT field. Now, if we go back to Google, And when you search, when you found this consulting company and you see, hey, how did they make it to that point, right? Um, uh, you can always read their Wikipedia page. You can see what are their competitions by going down in this Google Graph and say, hey, what other companies are doing the kind of the similar thing? So Accenture would be another one, KPMG would be another one. The data are there, so you can do your research and see, hey, if this type of service providing IT company, it is what you need, right? It is what you want to start. Um, and and let me tell you guys something. So like personally, like as I have worked for one of these companies, and like I'm gonna tell you honestly, like they sound so big, but it's actually very small as to the services that they provide to companies, to other companies and other entities. But again, they do have to sound professional because they are consulting companies, so they have to present themselves in a way that people take them serious. So yeah, so so Delight is one. Again, Accenture is one. What else? So yeah, that's consultation service providing, right? Then there are companies who are software companies, and you can simply just search software companies in near me, and it would show you a bunch of then who are the service provider for software development. So that's another field that you can actually like come up with another business idea providing a software development. And usually these companies, as they get bigger, they do transit into consultation company as well while they're doing the software development. So yeah, so you can like Google these software companies and see, hey, what are they missing in the area that they're providing the service, right? So like that's another way to come up with a service providing company, business idea or company. Now let's look at other ones. So there are agencies, of course, which provide many different services. They kind of wear a lot of hats, and it's called digital agencies. So you can dig more into it. They provide advertising, software development, web development, and how to go about like creating a complete product for other companies, right, or for other entities. So that's what a digital agency does. They do again, all these companies as a service provider, they do kind of overlap each other a little bit because for example, a consultation company might provide a software development services on the side of the consultation company, right? Or a digital agency would also provide a consultation services. So yeah, so these are the demonstration of service providing companies, and and if you can read about it, they usually charge on an hourly basis or on the project itself. So that's how they usually quote someone. Their clients. So now going back, let's get into product, because I feel like product honestly is my forte, and that's what I know most. And how do I search for product ideas, right? A good source is, I would say, brainstorm on your board, right? Type in like a table, not type in, draw a table and say like what people need, how much effort does it require, right? And in that section, in what people need section, you can say problems of today, right? In society, right? What are the problems? What people? You got to think like, what are the problems out there, right? And what product I can create in order to resolve this. What software I can create in order to resolve this problem, right? So of course you are not able to like resolve global warming with computer. I don't know how that would work, but maybe you can. Maybe you can actually create a piece of software where capture a lot of data, and you can calculate things in order to, you know, direct organizations where they are involved into human into geographical human behavior and that type of thing. So like, you know, nonprofit organization that the software help them in order to see what's going on around that area, right? So there's a lot of possibilities, but again, you cannot, don't think too big as you can solve all of it at once, right? You have to start very small and just build from there. So a business idea, let's say for example YouTube was, hey, YouTube is a product owned company because they provide a video streaming platform, right? So at that point they were thinking, what platform can we create in order for people to be able to, like, you know, show their videos, right, that they're recording, right? Or Google is a search engine product company, right? I mean, Google is now much bigger. I mean, they provide so much more. They actually own YouTube, right? So but they started as a very small product-based company, and that was to just try to index the entire web, right? And that's where they are now. So that's how the way to come up with ideas for, I would say, for product-based company, it's try to go out and see what are the problems in the real world, right? And that's the only way, honestly, that you can come up with a business idea as a product company. So let's say that you do come up with an idea, right? And you did decide a company, a product-based company, and how would you go about it, right? A lot of product-based company is that first write a business plan, right? A great way is by just searching, first of all, business plan template, right? You know, try to download one of these business plan template. SBA.gov provide you with one. So there's one down here. Yep. So you can download that, and you know, just this is a simple one. So that's very, yep. So just open that. Let's see. All right, come on, open up. So yeah, you should also read this article that SBA wrote. It does give you how to write a business plan, an idea how to write a business plan. So yeah, it's very simple. Honestly, like a lot of people think like business plan is like 20 pages. No, you can actually start it very small. It's a 1-page business plan, right? That give you a clear idea as to like where you're going with your company, right? So again, go to SBA.gov, scroll all the way down, download this file, and then again just open it, right? Let's see why it's not opening. My work is not working. Yep. All right, we just gotta put it on the read only. Nice. Okay. So, yep, I gotta activate my Microsoft. So yeah, so just like, you know, this company, for example, Wooden Grain Toy Company, it's basically identifying, you know, themselves and identifying the problem, and then the solution to that problem, and you know, right target audience, or like who are your targeted people that you want to sell your product to. The competition, you know, who else are in the field that you need to compete with, right? Again, in that term, you really don't have to be like unique in the field. You can actually be any company, but provide one level of niche better than other competitors, right? So Again, revenue stream, how you want to sell it, you know, and that type of thing. Marketing activities, expenses, team, key role, and you know, just define your company, define your product company. You can use the same thing for service-based company as well, and you should, because you know, you kind of want to have a clear idea as who you are as a company. So yeah, so once you have your business plan, and honestly, it all comes down to the solution part, right? After you define all this information, it comes down to the solution. So as a programmer and as a product-based company, what is your solution, right? It's usually providing an application within different platforms such as iOS, Android, web development, and an AI system. So yeah, once you have that, let's say in this example, our product will start from a web-based application. So the way you want to set your structure, your for that business idea and for that company is create a repo for your application by just going to GitHub, right? That's how I do it. I just go ahead and create a repo and, you know, call it whatever. I gotta sign in now right now. Give me 1 second. 1 second, guys. Okay, gotta confirm. Yep, got my GitHub secure for sure. Yep, so go ahead and like initiate your project, your web-based project, by calling it, you know, web-based, or, you know, product name, right? And then create your repo, right? After you define your repo, you can, so now you have to decide what stack and what technology you want to use for this product, right? And the way you do that is by, you know, since you're on the web application, see what are the latest what are the best technology to use for web development, right? So just Google that. What are the best technologies? Technologies for web application, right? Again, Google is your best friend, guys, honestly. So yeah, so like search on that and see what technologies fit you the most. And right off the bat, I can tell you guys that like a lot of web projects nowadays are being developed by headless CMSs, so such as like WordPress, but use it as a headless CMS, React Native, AngularJS, and Vue.js, and of course many other JS frameworks which are trending at this point. So yeah, so you know, Google that, and then of course you need a database, or you can go straight to companies which provide all these back-end solutions, right? So like AWS have a service which called AWS Amplify, right? I know many people gonna, you know, probably say stay away from Amplify. Well, if your product can be used by if your product can be created by using AWS Amplify, which is kind of like using other services within AWS, but it just act as a one service, then why not, you know, use product like that, like, right, to expedite your development process. So yeah, so you can use that. Then there are, I think Google also has these type of services, which is like Google Cloud. And I think, what is it? I think Firebase is still there. Yeah, so you can use like Firebase. That's like another backend a product that you can use in order to expedite your development process, right? And then of course there are documentation on how to, you know, how to use it for different environment and with different technologies. I personally recommend AWS Amplify, um, but because they provide the top technologies that is happening in the web development, and of course Firebase does that too. Again, it's always your preferred choice, like whichever you want to go with. So once you've done that, then once you decide your stack and stuff, now the next step is a lot of testing. Make sure that your product has a lot of testing, unit testing, UI testing, run it through like a testing testing environment such as like Jasmine. I think that's JavaScript. If you're, again, this product is based on web, so different. There are different testing tools out there. So like do that, like run it through Jasmine. What else? Yep, there's also Travis CI, right? So set that up, right? Set up your continuous integration environment. So it's a lot of that, right? So like, but everyone come up. It all depend on your project and how you want your company to go about. If I was the person that creating a product myself on web, I automatically would go to Amplify, AWS, just because they have technology that I am the most familiar with, and I know how to use the most. And these are such as React Native, or React, or plain pure vanilla JS, right? So like if I go to documentation here, get started, and then I can connect my repo, which I created there, or develop your app, and then of course log in, and so like build a blog, or like build a to-do, or blank data model, and then select your favorite frameworks, right? Again, they provide iOS, they provide Android. So you see, like, these services, they can give you a kick start in order to develop for other platform later on, within your product-based company. So once you did all of this, once you set up your product, once you start the technology, and decide which technology you want to do, you want to get more into like designing that product, right? It's very important to have it designed because it would expedite your development process. You can use companies like Upwork. There are many designers here that are that are willing to help you, and for a very great cost. Or find your in your network, right? Your friends who are designer and they would like to be part of it. You can always tell them, hey, I give you a percentage of a company, or I give you a compensation monthly, or whatever, however you want to go, right? So that's how you come up with the designing part. And then don't touch code until you have your design. That's just from my experience, because you're gonna go crazy if you're creating a product and you don't know what functionalities you want to have in there. Again, you have to discuss this with your designer as to what functionalities you want to have within your product so they can design that. Yeah, you're gonna go crazy, because now it's like I'm just coding, but I don't know if I need that functionality, if I don't need that functionality, right? If my designer would recommend that as a user experience. So yeah, talk with your designer and come up with like a strategy on how you want your first MVP product to be look like. So again, you want to create an MVP. You want to create a very small, tiny step, and build on that as you get more client base and customers for your product. Then there are, once let's say you create your app, now you got your design, all that stuff. How would you promote that app, right? How would you sell that app? So I can tell you guys, Reddit, you can join some channels where they discuss about like business development, and you can share your ideas, and people would really help you. Like they might actually, if not, they might become your customer, right? So that's one part, that's one place. And then a lot of social media, such as professional social media, so like LinkedIn. There are tools where you can actually identify people that will use your product, right? So yeah, you can, I think it's called, what is it called? LinkedIn hashtag. Yeah, so like you can do hashtag research. There's a lot of tools out there where for marketing, or you can just simply hire a digital agency like the service provider we spoke in the beginning of the video, so they can actually market your product, right? So that's how you come up with business idea, and that's how you go on about creating that idea for product base. Again, service is very it's not a lot, but you should have a business plan, but it's just providing service, the knowledge and consultation that but product based do have a more step in order to get to the final product, and it is much riskier because you don't know if that product will succeed or not, and that's why you should do a lot of research before you start development and spending time on creating your product. So there you go, guys. To come up with a business plan idea, look into problems. That's one recommendation I can give you guys, is that the today problem can be your next company. So with that said, enjoy your day and have a wonderful